Black people, we have to do better. We do. We really have to do better. I'm sick and tired of reporting on these stories where we play the leading role. Like I know we want to be in movies and shit, but this is not the role that we need to take. All right? Okay, Chicago, in Chi-Town. Speaking of which, this is what happened in Chicago. Where was Carl Winslow? Where was Carl?
Wow.
He gets it. Anyways, all right. In Chicago, a barber shot and killed a customer last week after he refused to pay for his $15 haircut. Let that sink in. He shot and killed someone over a $15 haircut. Let's keep reading. So, Times reported that Christian McDougal, 31, began arguing with the barbers at Studio 914 in Maywood on Thursday after attempting to avoid paying his bill. So I guess he didn't want to pay the bill. He got shot in the chest. Now, here's the thing. It's 2021. What do we always say? 2021. The incident was caught on camera, and a witness identified McCattery. He was the shooter. And investigators also uncovered a gun linked to the incident inside McCattery's coat and ammunition in his car that matched the bullet casing found at the scene. This nigga was fucked before he even put the condom on. Now, on Sunday, it was also reported that McCattery was charged with first-degree murder and ordered held in lieu of $250,000 bail. Now, here is the fucking gem. Here's the crown jewel. His lawyers got some fucking nerve. So his lawyer, Anthony Birch, God bless his heart, said his client was acting in self-defense because he is a legal gun owner. And according to the report, Birch stated McDougal, or not McDougal, that's a white dude, but McDougal was the aggressor, and McCattery was retreating back into the shop when he shot him.
Yeah. All right. That's a lot to unpack.
This?
That's a whole lot of luggage right there. That's a lot of luggage.
Who's believing this? First of all,
believing what? Believing what?
That the guy who, that it was self-defense. Who's believing this? Now, I understand that Buddy was arguing, well, allegedly, saying, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying for this. I come over to your house, or to your establishment, rather. I eat. I look you dead in the face. I ain't paying for this. What you gonna do? Is that a death sentence?
I mean, if you're in Chicago, hell yeah. Like, you don't know what Chicago, like this, come on, man.
No.
There's certain areas just known for certain shit, bro.
No, do you know why? You know why that doesn't pass the smell test? Because every single interaction that we see with people who look like us that end up in a fatality from the police, we always ask the same question. Does that warrant a death sentence? And we always come up with the same answer. No. So how the fuck you can't justify this? Because if you could justify this, taking somebody's life over $15, well then there's 100 other ways you can justify all these unarmed killings of innocent black people.
I think it's not. I don't think so. I think it's more about you have to understand what area you're in. You have to understand what areas you're going to. These are barbershops, you understand? And I don't know what Chicago's like, but I know there's certain areas of Toronto where the barbershops are located in not such great areas. And the prices are cheaper in those areas. Because this is definitely a cheap haircut. This is not an expensive haircut where people go $100. Like, Supercuts charges more than this guy paid for his haircut. So he's clearly going to somewhere that can afford to charge that because their rent must not be that high. And unfortunately, those areas are usually the ghetto areas, quote unquote. You understand? So if you go to these areas where there are probably already a lot of people who are struggling, so do what they got to do to survive, and then you try to steal from those people who already don't have a lot, who are already struggling, and we're in quarantine and COVID, they are far more likely to act in what you may consider an overly aggressive way, but for them, it's just a way of life. You got to understand, man, there's people that come from different walks of life, and I'm not trying to justify somebody getting shot and killed over $15, but I'm saying that this guy is an idiot for going into an area that he must have known had that type of mentality and then tried to boss up on somebody And unfortunately, this is what happens when you try to let your pride step in front of it. Why the fuck wouldn't he pay $15? It's $15. And you're going to go there, get the haircut, and then try to act the ways? Like I said, it doesn't justify the man being dead at all. But don't go to places, act certain ways, and then be surprised when you get the reaction. That's all I'm saying.
Look, man, you mentioned stealing. And this is pretty much the equivalent of stealing. Cut the nigga's hand off. Or, how about this? You make a great point about, people doing what they gotta do, making an honest buck in a pandemic. You can't steal from a nigga who needs it. So his reaction might be a little over the top. I'm here, I got a family to feed. I got whatever put that barber in that barber shop that day, he was there to make money for whatever reason.
Right.
Okay. How you gonna make money from a fucking jail cell? So, I remember this one guy, I can't remember who said it, but he goes, when people go to the club, right? I have to say this. When people go to the club, right? They're like, yo, if we get into a scrap, yo, everybody's, you gotta hold me down, you know what I mean? And here's the signal, and do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so that's one side of it. But I wonder, so they're willing to go to this club and possibly die. Because you don't know where it could go, right? This guy didn't pay. He didn't think he was going to die because he wasn't paying $50. You don't know where it can go. So back to the story of going to the club. Imagine you and your boys are getting ready to go to the club and they're like, yo, my guy, like, you got me and da-da-da. Because if shit pops off, I'm willing to die for this shit. Well, imagine he says this to you. But before we go to the club, I got to stop off at my mom's house because I got to tell my mom I love her and she may not see me after tonight. I gotta go to my girl's house and so on and so forth. Don't you think your mentality would change a little bit? Like, whoa, wait a second. Because that's really what you're doing, isn't it? If you're willing to go to a club and start a fight or protect yourself, you don't know where that could go. Why don't you just walk away? Or to your point, why don't you just pay the $15? Or to my point, why don't you just say, fuck, I got ripped off, it's $15. I don't want to throw my life away over $15 fucking dollars. So, I get what you're saying, but both of these people are fucking stupid. And I get the situation. But again, he was in that barbershop for a reason. It could have been to pay a phone bill, it could have been to take care of it. It could have been for anything. But how are you going to do that now? You're in jail.
And the guy didn't call him to come to his barbershop and get a haircut. It's not like he called him. You have to understand, I'm done. And yes, it's sad that this continues to happen. But what I'm done doing, like I keep telling you, is I'm done giving black people the excuse for their stupid fucking decisions. And if it results in something that is crazy like this one, which is extreme, you're never going to find me blaming the person who reacts. It's always going to be the person who makes that dumb-ass decision. Because until we start holding those people accountable, these things will continue to happen, bro. It's just the way it is.
Viewing public, what are your thoughts here? What's the most expensive haircut you ever got? I took it somewhere totally different. Lighten that mood right up.
Holy shit.
Lighten that mood right up.
That is, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I did that. It's the most expensive haircut that you ever got. But all right, we can go back there. Who's in the wrong here? Who is in the wrong here? The person that didn't want to pay the $15 or the person that took a life and threw away his life at the same time over $15? Am I crazy here? And you had to know the guy that didn't pay the $15 was sitting in the chair the entire time, knowing he wasn't going to pay the $15. Leave it in the comments, man. This is why I cut my own hair. Deuces.
I don't even know what kind of a laugh that was.
I
don't think I've ever laughed like that.
I ain't going to kill myself over a haircut.
That shit caught me out of nowhere. Holy fuck. Right. That's funny.